We talk about this a lot in the sales movement. The customer should ask you what your product does, not you tell them. If you're not happy shouting from the rooftop about your product, don't tell people about it. If somebody can see it's you really believe, you're really emotional about it, kind of unstoppable. Really. Don't be shy about creating content. You have to do it. I'm 57, I can do it. You can do it too. And who cares if somebody doesn't like what you produce? Really? What? Somebody's like, your content sucks. And so what? Seriously, get out there. I get asked a lot about how to be better at sales, but let's call it as it is. You want to win. I mean, so do I. I mean, I'm still doing this after 35 years and 25,000 meetings. Like, I love winning at sales. Like, what is winning? How do you define winning at sales? So there's a really easy way to think about it. The easiest way to think about it is getting a deal. Like literally, what you want to do is get a deal. That is the most. Somebody to sign a deal and send you money. That is winning at sales. What is losing at sales? Not getting a deal. So let's define winning at sales as about getting deals. We can also dig in a little bit deeper. Sales is a long-term activity because if you just win at sales today by selling the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time, that's no good. You know why? Because you won't be selling in 35 years' time. People will be like, no, dude, you sold me something. And you've heard me talk about this in the sales movement. We're not selling. Sure, we're selling, but we're making sure that what we're delivering, the client actually wants. Right? It's so important. So don't be a one-trick pony and sell them no matter what. And I'm going to tell you why I know that, because I did that at the beginning of my career. And it doesn't last. Let's define winning at sales about being securing deals over the long term by selling the right product to the right people. So don't sell the wrong product, something that's crap. Don't sell to the people who don't need your product. Over the long term, don't just sell one day and forget about it, and win. I would also say winning at sales means being happy. Imagine you were happy, closing deals, people like your product, you did it forever, and made a ton of cash. Now, I'm going to leave making a ton of cash to the side. You know why? The outcome is because of the effort that you did. Only focus on the effort. Don't worry about, am I going to get my commission and all this? You'll get it. If you keep being good at sales, you will get it. So I'm going to teach you, tell you, talk to you. You know what I mean. Just listen. And how to be good at sales, how to win at sales in the long run, close deals, and also love it as well, because I still love it. You know, I've over $75 million of deals closed, 25,000 sales meetings. Here's a crazy thing. 25,000 sales meetings, the majority I didn't get a deal. So the majority of meetings I lose, but you don't, because altogether you practice at sales. Okay. I was terrible at sales at the beginning because, as I've talked about in other videos, I just did product selling. I was just like, hey, buy my product. My product's great. Please buy my product. There was no sense of, hey, tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. There was no sense of understanding. So I'm going to tell you a little story about a company I used to work for. It was called Ally Dunbar. I was 22-ish in London. It was life insurance. It was cold call selling, calling, picking up the phone, going to meetings, or knocking on doors. No internet, no email back then, obviously. Knock, 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 ring, ring, ring. We sold life insurance. We had a script. And quite a lot of it was okay. Like I learned quite a lot. I learned how to be resilient. So how to win at sales, be resilient. Don't worry that you get told no 99 times out of 100. And if it's 100 out of 100, is what it is. Just roll with it. It's fine. But what happened was, no matter what questions we asked the client, we sold them the same product. Oh, you want to be over here? We have this. We only had one product. You buy it. You buy it. You want to be over here? You buy it. You want to be over here? You buy it. And that was the downside of that. And that's what I'm talking about, which is not winning at sales by being that person who very much just focuses on selling. You have to sell the product today. There is always tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to teach you how to close every deal. I'm not going to teach you how to ram a product down someone's throat. I'm not going to teach you those techniques because I don't think they win in the long term. If you want to be the close every deal right now and no client gets away from you, that's someone else. I've been in this game for so long and I want to stay in this game for another 35 years. So people have to listen and believe to what you're saying. So you win at sales by closing deals. You close deals by winning trust from customers, and you do that with practice. Okay, so I told you what didn't work for me. Short-term sales. Thinking about your product, thinking about yourself, thinking about your commission that you put in your pocket. You will get commission by selling the right way. So what is the right way? Okay. It took me quite a long time to figure this out because I spent 5, 6, 7, 8 years just selling stuff. Hey, I kind of figured got to make a living. I think I told you I sold horse manure, electronic signs, LED display signs, life insurance. I sold a bunch of stuff. And I learned that while I was relatively good at it, I wasn't fantastic because it took me a while to realize that I was selling the wrong thing to the wrong person. It doesn't make sense. So as I went through it, and I think I would want to be better at sales and I want to win. And don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying you're not going to get commission. You get a lot of commission. I want you to maximize the amount you sell over the long period. Okay. When you get into these sales meetings, this sounds cheesy and cliche, but it's so true. Have a customer mindset. Never talk about the features of your product until they ask. Like it's so important to understand this key phrase of winning at sales. Because I'm going to give you a lot of other things to do. You know how you win at sales? You know how you really win at sales? It's just by fulfilling the customer's needs. And also, if you don't, let's say they want to buy X and you only sell Y. You know what you do? You say, hey, I'm really sorry. I don't have Y. I only sell X. But there is a shop just down the road. I know they sell Ys. So maybe I can give you their address and you can go there. So you didn't win that deal, but you won their trust. And that customer, when they want to buy X's, they're coming to you. This is how you win. So you start with always a customer mindset. How to make the customer win. If the customer wins, 2 things happen. So what is a customer winning? So 2 things that happen. They either buy from you, yay, or they don't buy from you, but they tell other people you were a legend salesperson. Hey, I think we found a framework where you win in every deal. If you get the deal, you win. If you don't get the deal, they still think you're a great salesperson and they tell other people, or they walk away with a positive mindset. We've just discovered a way to win every time. How cool is that? So if you get into a customer mindset framework by asking them, what do they need? What are they looking for? And sometimes it's hard to say, what are you looking for? People only buy things when they have a problem. Now, if you're bored, you buy Netflix. If you're hungry, you buy food. I've talked about this. If you want to go somewhere, you buy an airplane ticket. If somebody is super happy with where they are and they don't need anything, they're not going to buy anything, right? And also, you can't buy something you don't know about. So the fact that you're in the room, you're already winning at sales. If you can get into that meeting, you're already winning at sales. So, but once you get in that room, your objective, and this is going to sound super weird, but I promise you it works. Your objective is not to close the deal at any cost. That's a lose. You might sell it and it might all be good, sure. Your job is to figure out, does the customer actually want to buy from you? And does it make sense for them? And remember, there's edges around here. It might not be perfect. Let's say it's raining and they want like a really big umbrella and you only have a medium umbrella. That's okay. You can sell them a medium umbrella. But if it's sunny, they don't need an umbrella. You don't need to sell it to them. If it stops raining, don't try and force the umbrella on them. You're looking for a framework that says, how can I make this customer feel good? How can I make this customer then understand what I have would fit that gap that they described to you? We talk about this a lot in the sales movement. The customer should ask you what your product does, not you tell them. They have to be like, so Ned, yeah, look, it's good to be chatting. So what does your product do again? Oh, yeah, well, we were talking about the need that you had. And this product fills that gap. Like it almost exactly fills that gap that you have. So you win at sales by understanding the customer. Let's take a step back. I've been talking about what happens when you're in front of a customer. But to get in front of a customer, you need to get in front of a customer. Where do you find these customers? There's this phrase, lead generation, right? And sometimes it's a bit of a nasty word. People are like, it's lead gen, lists, spam. But in reality, people buy things all day long. Like you buy it, I do. We all buy things all day long. And it's really okay to sell them stuff. To do it, you've got to let them know what you're selling. Okay, I sometimes struggle with this phrase, so I want to get it right for you guys so that you hear it. So I'm going to say it this way. You can't buy something you don't know about. There you go. That can be a little clip all of its own. You cannot buy something you don't know about. Think about it. You've never bought anything you don't know about. Even if you've never seen it before and you come around the corner and it's in the supermarket, you're like, what is that? It's a new chocolate bar. I'm going to buy that. If you don't get your product in front of people, no one's going to buy it. You cannot win at sales. You cannot get to the stage I'm describing, which is trying to make a customer feel good and so that they can buy your product, unless you've started the lead gen. But don't think about it as lead gen. I really love the word advertising. Some people think about it as paid advertising, which is one part. But the way to win at sales is to get out there and tell people about your product. Because the more people that know your product, the higher the chances that the right person who needs your product at that time knows you. If you want to get into really tactical stuff, here's my little pitch. Jump into the sales movement and the course and the community. We tackle really in-depth technical details often. But leave that to the side. So many people are still getting the high levels things wrong. You're not advertising your product enough. What does advertising mean? Emailing people, writing on LinkedIn, Reddit, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, wherever your audience is. Be part of that audience. And I use the word audience very specifically. You want to win at sales, you've got to be a performer. You have got to be the person who's putting it out there, not the person sitting in the back of the room. Because the person sitting in the back of the room isn't the person who's going to make the most sales. Sales is a game of advertising, of telling people about your product. Now, if you don't want to tell somebody about your product, you're selling the wrong thing. You know this phrase, you can't sell something you don't believe in? I like to phrase it as, if you're not happy shouting from the rooftop about your product, don't tell people about it. I ran my own startup called Bamboo. I screamed and shouted about it all day long. I loved it. Like I really loved it. Even though it went through its ups and downs, I adored it. I used to tell everybody about it. And it was great. And people could sense that. And now, I run the sales movement. Why do you think I do this podcast? Because I'm here to win at sales. I want to win. Yeah. I don't want to lose. I don't want to have no sales. And I hope you're watching this podcast and you feel the same about your product. And that's what you've got to convey to your customer. So, old school, literally get leaflets and go to conferences and hand them out. Post on Instagram your story about why you do your product. Do email marketing. Where do you get these leads? Join groups on these social media platforms, whether you're selling microphones, lamps, shampoo, shirts, B2B fintech. there is an audience there. And it's not, of course, you could win by going to any of these email generation lists, buying lots of emails and spamming them. But that's not the game we're playing here. We're playing a level above that. We want to be in with our audience. You want to be relevant. Have a look at my LinkedIn. You know what it says at the top? It says salesman. I talk about sales. If you're talking about sales, I'd like to think I'm in the conversation. I don't want to think I'm the best or the worst, but I'm in the conversation. Get yourself in the conversation, no matter what you're selling. And again, it doesn't matter. Microphones, tables, phones, this, lights, it doesn't matter. Level 1, lead gen software that generates that mass. Level 2, level 3, level 4. Let's move up those levels. So winning at sales is about finding your audience, communicating to your audience. And then when you get into the room, allow them to want to buy from you, right? You want to create that ability, that space for them to buy from you. And I think I've said this in every podcast that I've done. It's not you selling and telling. Telling isn't selling. I probably, for the first 3 to 5 years, I was an okay salesperson. I kind of hit target. I then spent 25 years beating target. And, I've sold tech, horseshit. I've raised money, raised over 20 million for my startup. It's all the same. It's all the same. You only win if the customer wins. You only win if you put yourself out there. Now, those two simple. Put yourself out there, listen to the customer. Inside all of that are incredibly important little steps, but so many people don't do these two. If you're not doing these two main things, you're not there. So check yourself. Have you done a lot of outreach to your audience? Outreach can be comments, likes, emails, participating at events, conferences, online, live streams, webinars, and give back. Go to other people's. Don't just do your own. It's not a one-way street. You want to win at sales? Cheer on other people. Watch other people's products. Whatever you're selling, go to help them, promote them. Like seriously, it's a really two-way thing. You might think I'm Ned wants to help everybody. Yes, I don't want to be a douchebag to everybody. I want to win the most. But you don't win by grabbing everything. Maybe some salespeople do, and they're like, I'm going to sell everything to everybody. Good luck. Because remember what I said at the beginning of this show? I want to be happy too. Do I think I'm happy if I'm putting other salespeople down? I don't. And then the other side is this customer. If you get to the place that they want to buy from you, fantastic. They're going to buy a product from you. But if you don't, you want to leave them with the impression that it was okay. It was totally fine. We talked about that. That win-win is even if you win, lose in the meeting, win, sell, lose, don't. The lose, they walk away with a great opinion. They tell someone else about you. So do those two main things. The other way of winning a sales is this kind of concept that when you have your product, think about it from, you don't want to say it's not about you, but think about it from your own point of view. What do you really love about it? What's that one thing you really love about it? So with my sales movement, what I really love is that I help founders be successful. I've been a founder. I know how hard it is. And there's nothing that makes me feel better than helping a founder succeed. I want to help all salespeople succeed, but everyone's got their little special thing. And, sometimes if you're having a hard sales month, go really think deeply about where your emotion comes out the best, because sales is about motivation as well. Sales is about the rhythm and the flow of how you are and how of how your sales are going. And if you haven't sold anything for I come from B2B, so we're not selling every day. It takes long sales cycles. Let's say you haven't sold anything for 6 months. It really does get hard to keep that belief. So then we've got to really think about what is it that you would be best at. So I don't think I'd be very good at, and I keep pointing this microphone, but it's, when I said you can't by something you don't know about. So when I try to say I could sell anything, I look at something around. So could I sell microphones? I think I could. Do I think I'd be great at it? I don't think so. I think it'd be pretty good. I mean, it looks like a pretty sweet microphone. But I don't love it. Like, I'm sorry, microphone, but I don't love it. It's not my thing, right? And that, if you want to win at sales, and you're at a job or a company or sale, and 6 months, 12 months goes by, and you don't feel it, you don't love it, it doesn't come from here, it's time to make a change. I could feel after I did my startup, my company Bamboo, we oversold, underdelivered. So one of our challenges was we sold so much we couldn't deliver. And I love selling it. And after that, I've been helping a few other wealth techs deliver as well. And I 100% helping them sell and doing my best. But there is always that little bit not quite, because it's not the same thing. I'm not saying it has to be your own company, but what I'm saying is this. You really want to win at sales? It's not that you just have, of course you have to believe in it. But if somebody can see it, you really believe, you're really emotional about it, it's kind of unstoppable. It really is. It's kind of an unstoppable force. And so as I launched the sales movement, I could see it. I could really see it as I talk to B2B startups. Because I've been in that place. I've been in that sales place where I've seen the exact moment. Because when a sales is getting away from you, you have to do something to bring it back. And again, this is a shorter podcast show. It's half an hour, 40 minutes. But if you want to, I think a lot about how to get the sales back if you're losing it, how to bring it back. But if you don't really, really love it, super hard to bring it back to you. So winning at sales is such a wide range of combinations, but it is those two key things. You need a lot of volume. You need to make the customer win. And the same way I'm looking at you now, I love the sales movement, with all my heart. I think it's fantastic. I think you should buy it. And if you don't buy it, it's totally cool. It's totally okay. And be that person who really loves it. I actually spoke to another founder today. He has a music startup. You can just tell, he just adores it. And sometimes, you can be blind from the adoration of what you do. You don't see it, but it is the way to win at sales. Okay, I want to kind of bring this. There's the big topics. I want to give you a few just instant, small takeaway tips that I actually did a longer webinar on this, had 10 points. I'm going to try and summarize them all, little 30-second clips, sound bites that you can just dive into. Okay, how to win at sales. Lesson 1's related to lesson 1 over here. Volume. 10. So again, I come from a B2B background, but it can be used anywhere. 10 meetings a week minimum. Meetings, not outreaches, not emails, anything. 10 meetings a week. You must do those. Number 2, smile. Seriously, just smile a lot. You want to win at sales? Be a positive, happy person. I find it pretty easy for me because that's generally who I am. And life hasn't always been nice and easy. My startup came and went. So you do not, and I didn't always smile the whole time, but when you're selling, smile. The next one is, you want to win at sales, is trust. How do you create trust? You tell the client what you don't have. Don't be like, yep, I've got everything. Because I've been down that road before. I've been the sales guy who said yes to everything. Yes, we have this. Oh, do you have that? Yep. And even if we don't, I said yes to it. It was crazy madness, right? So don't do that. Don't be the person who is always saying yes to everything. Next one. I'd say I need to take what do you call it? A chill pill here before I talk about this. Otherwise I get too fired up. The amount of startups who don't have a CRM, a customer relationship management tool. I was on a call today. None of the startups had a CRM. If you're in B2B and you don't have a software that manages your sales leads, I don't think you can be successful. I really don't. I think you're already failed. You have set yourself up for failure. The analogy I use is trying to sell without a CRM like a HubSpot or a Salesforce. If you're in B2B, again, I'm very B2B focused, but I think for all sales, if you don't have a system that manages your leads, and it isn't an Excel spreadsheet, if you tell me you're on Excel, I'll tell you you're not a salesperson. Sorry, just my view. Selling without a CRM is like riding a bike with flat tires. You can do it, but it ain't clever. I've ridden a bike with flat tires. It ain't very good. All you have to do is pump up the tires. If you don't know how to use the CRM, go to YouTube, watch a lesson on CRM. You do. You know how to do it. The other thing I want to encourage you to win at sales is create a brand for yourself. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to do this with here. I do these sales shows. I love sales. As you can tell, look, I'm sitting in a studio. There's literally no one else here. I'm just talking to myself. There's a camera. I'm just talking to you. I love sales. I could do this all day. It'd be pretty tiring. I'm not going to lie. Sitting in front of a camera is pretty tiring. But I could do this all day. And I'm creating a brand for me. And my brand is Ned's the sales guy. So what happens when people want to buy sales? Who do they buy it from? Let's go. Don't be shy about creating content. You have to do it. I'm 57. I can do it. You can do it too. And who cares if somebody doesn't like what you produce? Really? What? Somebody's like, your content sucks. And so what? Seriously, get out there. Now your content, just to say, must be positive. Don't hate on people. Don't be negative. Sales is a positive game. You want to win at sales? Be positive. These are these quick wins. And the last one that I want you to think about is this. This is probably the least obvious, but the most important. It's called let it go. Let the no's go. When people tell you they don't want to buy it, when you get rejection, let it go. They're not saying to you, hey, Ned, I don't like you. If somebody says no, they're not saying to you, hey, you suck. You were just the wrong person at the wrong time with the wrong product or a combination of all of those three. Seriously, that's all it was. It wasn't anything else. It was just that combination. But so many people take it on themselves. They're like, why didn't they buy? Of course, you can be self-critical. I'm not suggesting that you don't review. I'm going to add one last thing. I'm not suggesting you don't review your own work. I'm not suggesting you don't get better. But if truly the customer didn't need to buy your product, if truly the customer didn't need it and they didn't want to buy it, it's okay, let it go. Or if they were like, hey man, just having a bad day, just like, no, I don't want to talk to you today. Let it go. Particularly if you're a cold calling salesperson and you're doing it all day long, they don't pick up, it's right, let it go. So smile, be positive, let it go. And here's the last one. I actually got this, obviously not directly, rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, Mamba mentality. I think you guys know I'm a kind of a runner. I like running a long way. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I hadn't listened to Kobe before, his Mamba mentality. What a guy. What a guy. I'm not a basketball guy, but he was still turning up at 4 a.m. to do extra training when he was the leading scorer in the NBA. He could have been chilling. He was not. Practice your sales. But that's not what this lesson is. Such a cool little thing. So he was talking to this podcaster. It was about a year before he had that terrible plane crash or helicopter plane crash. And they said, so tell me some of the extra things you do that others don't do. He said, I watch the reviews of all my games. And the commentator, and this is a basketball term, I'll explain it, said, oh, you mean you watch the touches? So in NBA, players afterwards watch touches. It's each time they touch the ball. So they get an edit of the full game. And basketball goes on for like 2 hours. They get an edit of the full game, right? And most people just watch their touches when they played. Kobe was like, no, I watch it all. All 2 hours after an NBA game, he sat down and he had a much older coach, way older than me, like 80-year-old dude, who was like, you have to watch the entire game. Even when you were on the bench, I want you to watch the game. Why? because you will learn. It was incredible. Partly Kobe, obviously he was talented. He said on the show when he was 11, he went a whole summer at basketball camp where he didn't score a point. He didn't score a single point, like the whole summer camp. And the podcast host said, "What do you mean? You scored a few?" He's like, "No, I didn't get a basket the whole camp." And the podcast host said, "Why not?" He said, "Because I was terrible." Kobe learned this from repeated actions. So what I want you to do, I want you to, whenever you can, record your Zoom calls, your Zoom sales calls. Record them. Ask the person, "Hey, can I record? I'm just, just watching my own sales, just practicing." And then watch the whole thing back, 1 hour. You know what you want to do? Here's what you're looking for. You're looking for how you interacted. You're looking for how they felt. You're looking at them. So not your touches, not what you say. Are they on their computer? Are they on their phone? Are they not focused on you? All of these parts. But I want you to also see who's speaking the most. Because if you're speaking the most, that is not what you want. That is not what you want to do. You shouldn't be speaking the most. They should. You want to win at sales? Get them to speak. You lead the dance, the performance, but they're the main actor. Not you. You're just there to help. So watch back your Zoom videos, see how you did. And I'm sure there's some kind of AI tool that can tell you, did you speak more than 50% of the time? If you did, let's dial that back. All right, people, I hope you enjoyed that. How to win at sales. Repeated actions, make the customer happy. And if you are lucky enough to sell something you love, keep doing it forever. Because I'll be doing it forever and I'll keep loving it. Thank you for watching the show. I hope this helps. Get out there, sell some more, and we'll see you in the next sale. Take care, guys. See you next time.